Harvard rejects 1 in 4 students with perfect SAT scores. UPenn and Duke reject 3 out of 5 valedictorians. Ivy League universities and elite universities have pretty much similar admissions criteria, similar rates of admissions, but getting into one doesn't mean you're going to get into the others. So what does that say about those accepted into these kinds of highly selective colleges? That they're lucky. Yes, I said it. It goes against everything that we've been taught about the American ideal of meritocracy, that success comes to those who work hard enough. I know I'll need security after this, but it's true. We've misunderstood exactly how elite universities were really deciding who gets in. That's coming up. This is for those of you who applied and didn't get in and are now questioning yourselves, and those of you who haven't applied yet but are pretty much willing to promise your unborn children in order to get in. I want your dreams to come true, but check in with yourself and ask, why do you really want, or why did you want to get in so badly? Is it because you feel like elite colleges are the place to be because you've heard that every president since Ronald Reagan has an Ivy League degree, or almost a third of leadership in the corporate elite got their undergrad degrees from elite schools? Well, what if I told you that researchers found that out of a group of thousands of senior executives among different sectors, including government leaders, only 10% attended an Ivy League school? And according to US News and World Report, of the CEOs of the top 10 companies on the Fortune 500 list, only 1 attended an Ivy League school and 8 were educated as undergraduates at public colleges, including 3 internationally. Wait, I know, you wanted to get into elite college because it's the best, right? It's where the best of the best go, and highly rejected colleges reject nearly all applicants. The more dreams they crush, the more exclusive and the more popular they become. Even Tufts recently dramatically dropped their acceptance rate in order to raise the number of students who will enroll. I mean, who can resist a chance to prove that when 70 to 96% of students aren't good enough, you are exceptional? I mean, that's what an elite Ivy League acceptance means, right? But according to a professor at Harvard, we should discard the notion that admissions is a meritocratic process that selects the best 18-year-olds who apply to a selective university. When we let go of our meritocracy ideals, we see more clearly that many talented, accomplished young people who will be outstanding leaders in the future will not make it to the likes of Harvard, Stanford, and Yale. There are simply not enough places for all of them at those universities. But why? Why aren't there enough spots for them? Aren't admissions officers there to find an eclectic assortment of the best and the brightest to accept to college? According to education researchers who specialize in college admissions, no. They're also there to, quote, protect the college's bottom lines and project a certain image, end quote. Kinda like couture handbag designers who would rather burn bags than sell them in order to increase demand and exclusivity, so that buyers will be willing to pay thousands of dollars for beautiful bags made by poor women being paid 4 cents a day, while telling everyone else not to buy from Shein. But I digress. What were we talking about again? Oh, that's right, merit. Did you know that there are some people who, despite having lower GPAs and lower scores, still get into elite colleges? You probably don't expect a person like me to say this, but they don't deserve to be there. They might have even taken your seat. You know who I'm talking about. According to the numbers at Harvard, nearly half of the students were admitted due to some sort of preference. Only 57% of white students were admitted to the school based on merit. 43% of Harvard's white students and less than 16% of African Americans, Asian Americans, and Hispanic students were admitted based on fitting into 4 criteria referred to as the ALDCs, which stands for Athletes, Legacies, Dean's List. Oh, that's merit. No, Dean's List. Their parents donated to the school, and children of Harvard employees. You guessed it, the rich.
What?
And get this, roughly 3/4 of these applicants would have been rejected if they hadn't been given this special preference. A study based on anonymous tuition records and tax filings reveals that at 38 elite colleges, more students attended from the top 1% than from the bottom 60%. Yet right now, middle-class people are arguing out here in these streets and before the Supreme Court because, in the words of Tayo Barrow, affirmative action that gives historically underrepresented communities a better chance at entering institutions they have been systematically excluded from is bad. It's reverse racism against white people and has been used to help Black people in particular enjoy benefits that white people are now supposedly left out of. Oh, someone's got to do something about this. The outrage, but policies to allow rich white people to go to elite universities with subpar or inflated grades is great. You can't get in with that score. Only my kid can. Got it. The rich don't need merit to get accepted to highly rejective colleges. I want to challenge everyone watching you to challenge your own thoughts and the thoughts of those around you that this is more than an inconvenient truth. Holding on to this belief of meritocracy and college admissions, not even talking about whether it's fair or unfair, just this belief alone is dangerous to all we hold dear as a society and will impact us years after we graduate from college. In The Diversity Bargain by Natasha Warku, she says that most students expressed a strong faith in a process that ultimately underselects Black, Latino, and working class applicants, among others. You believe, they believe, that the success of getting into elite college is all because you worked hard enough. But if you believe that, then the converse is also true. If you don't get into elite college, that's because you didn't work hard enough. And if the people who do get into elite colleges take that belief that those people, the less affluent, the minorities, they don't work hard. That's why I only saw a few of them in my class. They need to work harder. They will take those understandings with them as they ascend to positions of power and make hiring decisions, design tax policies, and shape media discourse. The colleges were never looking for perfectly well-rounded students or whatever shape you had to contort yourself into. Yes, even with a spike, the colleges had their eyes on forming a well-rounded and well-funded class. Those that were accepted just happened to fit in and balance with a bunch of other great and not so great students that particular year. Who's to say that they would have fit in another year? It's like the butterfly effect. If one thing had been different, they'd be rejected. I'll quote Becky, author and admissions counselor at Dartmouth. College admissions officers make business decisions based on what's best for the college. These decisions are not personal, and an admitted student is no more impressive than a denied student. Can I just tell you, you are just as smart and creative now as you were before you were rejected. So my hope for you is that instead of stressing out, instead of beating yourself up, you'll find a little peace and be able to be like, so I didn't get into an elite college, so what? The truth is, in the end, it's more about what you do when you go to college than where you go to college. And if you want to know what you have to do in college to have a successful career and beat those kids who did get into the Ivies, watch this. For those of you who do get in, I love you too. Congratulations. The competition's not over yet though.